Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjanan Shalakaya Chakshur Militan Yena Tasmaye Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you very much for coming. Actually, you are the ones I'm looking for because we are filtering. And now in the ministry's trajectory, if you look here, Nandan in the room, he is the master plan thinker. 2015 when I started, we had nothing. If I made a question, how many farms we have, nobody knew. Addresses, how many cows we have, that was like a question from another planet. So I said, my first idea is, let's make, can you read it? It becomes very, is it possible to read? Readable. So, yes, I had to visit all the temples and farms. So I said, not being a guru, not being rich, coming from South America, I have to have a plan. So my plan was, let's make conferences, and the conferences will pay the visits. And with this technology, simple, I managed to visit all ISKCON farms, almost, 95%. I'm missing Nairobi because I was going there in pandemic, and then I couldn't reach there, but otherwise Asia, Southeast Asia, Australia, Russia, Europe, Ukraine, South America, North America, we covered. And now we're ready to kind of tell you what's coming up, what's next, what are the steps forward. We're very grateful for the GBC body for giving us this chance. And Guru Prasad Swami is a great regenerative thinker, and we are planning to connect more with him on that topic. Please come, dear devotees. There are many chairs here also, if you like. So, from the conferences, what we wanted was one result, and that's a network. And the network started developing in India, in Australia, in Malaysia. So gradually the network is completely in place. Even though you don't see it now, but with one phone call I can more or less get information from any farm in the globe now. So the network is kind of ready. And what is the goal of the network? To educate. And that's cycle number 3, which is regenerative agriculture and ethical dairy. So those are the 2 primary focus of the ministry, but without community you can't do this. So we need to extend our mandate to build affordable homes and to have a community. Does that make sense? So that was the logic, simple logic, but it's working. I'm in my 3rd cycle, 23, 27. We hope to have the deliverables available. In these 4 years, we already have 1 deliverable. We are hoping for more. Prabhu, foundational course. Thank you. So, yeah, as I said, the 3rd cycle, 23, 27, online, on-site education. That's our goal. And zoom in. So zooming in, we identified 4 areas, as I mentioned. The first one, Go Seva. There were so many philosophies about how to take care of the cows. Deshi cows, non-deshi cows, no selling, this breed, that breed. There's so much. We couldn't even give a step forward without getting... So we decided, let's make a course with the top farmers. If you want, Prabhu, you can come. Top farmers, top cow protectors that we could find. So we found Gitanagri, and they were very good. They have a very good operation, certified, connecting to the government, USDA. They're really resourceful. So Parijata Mataji stepped up. From Mayapur, our Goshala in charge, very unassuming personality, Dhamma Gopal, who wears a turban. But he has studied, he has traveled South India, all the Gujarat. He knows the breeds deeply. And he's breeding with excellent results in Mayapur. So we know that we have one person in ISKCON who understands breeding. And we are trying to reach out. And he's part of the course. This is Antardi in Hungary. And he's one of the best with ox engagement. He's looked Europe far and wide for machinery. You see, the Czech Republic was the best machine with horses. And when the Second World War came, everybody dropped their machines and they adopted tractors. But they kept a lot of the old machinery in Czech. So he researched, he bought them, he applied. It's magnificent. You see him on a bullock cart and there's a grass cutter. It looks like a tractor. And he's riding his bulls. And now they have this ox power engine. It's a big room, about 8 meters wide, and the oxen go around, and then a shaft and a big engine, and they can cut wood, they can clean grains, they can process oils. It's magnificent, Maharaj. You should see. I don't know if you have seen it, this machine in Hungary, but it's a beauty. And we want to make more of these across the globe, because if we engage the oxen. So this is taking care of Krishna's cows. Systems of abundance, level 2, I'm writing it now. See, ISKCON, we don't have many farmers. You see here in the room. That's the Praman. So, a cow. Climate, microclimate. Okay, we're getting. Okay, what else? Knowledge, okay.
Fields of grains.
Fields of grains. Fruit trees. That's what we have in Nairobi. Many incredible fruit trees. Nandan?
Yeah, what to plant.
What to plant. When you click on number 1, we get 2 ideas. One is, this is permaculture. Permaculture tells you, people live here. The immediate things which needs your attention, like your vegetable garden, needs to be right there, because if it's ready to harvest, needs watering, you just see it, and it's very intimate. Everything that you can distribute that needs attention goes in zone 1. And then as attention is less and less required, it goes a little more distant in zone 2, 3, and 4. So 4 will be your far forest, your grain fields, you know, and then you divide. So let's try to work on the Dasa. It's going? Yes. And then as we go, you have the regenerative matrix, which we could say you have to cover the soil, minimize roots disturbances. We did so well.
What's that one? What's the green one? I can't read it.
The gray one?
Green.
The green one.
Maximize
Biodiversity.
crop diversity.
Yeah, so we want to increase biodiversity in our properties. Traditional farmer would think, this is a field of mangoes, we put mangoes here. And as a regenerative farmer, we want to enhance biodiversity. 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes there is 100 species in the line. It's really stable. Because you have many crops for one, and many different species that can live together. But those systems I'm starting to bring in. Keep the soil covered, minimize roots, and finally, if you click on 6, I won't go into so much detail, this is integrate livestock. Cows are very important. So see, top picture, this is Brazil. It's Nelore, which is an Ongol breed from India, eucalyptus and grass. The trees give shade for the cows. The grass have enough sunlight to grow. So this system is widely used. Okay? So if you don't like eucalyptus, you could have other trees here, fruit trees including. And I'm thinking perfect system for us would be trees, grazing, and lakes. So the cows go, they drink some water, and then the next day they graze another area. So they go around. Okay? So that's the kind of thing I'm trying to research, bring scholars in, and develop tools and connections to offer. Why it's important? This is another model. It's more like you have many species. Can you see this there? When you get close, it's like many species, and the corridor, you have this pasture. So you have mangoes, jackfruits, and if it's a climate temperate country, you have peaches and apples and pears and nuts and different trees, medicinal wood trees, they'll all go together. All of them in their space, okay? So I'm trying to just bring awareness that these technologies are there and we need to bring them close to us, okay? So Prema, let's go out of that. Out again. No, this is you again. Just pull out and then you, yes, and once more. Now, if you just do like with your two fingers, yes. And once again, the same movement. Yes, you're catching that. Biohousing. Bioeco-housing. See, these houses are all ecological. They can be beautiful. We tried some mud huts, not so beautiful. The devotees kind of rejected, saying, no, the real thing is this. But it can be very charming. This is actually a project in Bangalore. He had a coffee production place, 1,000 hectares of coffee in the forest, and he made houses from the forest, 10 crores one house. How much is 10 crores in dollars?
100 million.
No.
10 crores is something like 15 million or something more like that. How much is 10 crores? Who is good in math?
1 million.
1 million would be 1 million, eh?
10 million is 10 lakh.
Crore is 10
100
million.
million.
10 crores is like a million, 300, and
More than
330,000.
1 crore, how much is that?
1 crore is 100 million.
10
No.
crore.
1 crore is 133 million.
Okay.
133,000.
$1,000. Okay, so about $1.5 million. That's roughly, okay?
For a house.
For a house. Rich IT people in Bangalore love the idea because it's a mega house, ecological, natural. They work from home and they inherit about 10 acres of coffee. So they have a half share in that plot. So it maintains their house. So he was very smart. With 100 houses, he made quite some substantial money. 10 times 100, it's 1,000 crores on top of his coffee plantation. So ecological building can be very expensive, very beautiful, can be very simple and natural. This is clay. I'm doing this in my own place. Sacks of earth, you compress it, 3 days, 4 days, 8 days, 5 people have the house ready. It's amazing. It's a community tool. And I'm thinking it's very cheap and we can do it. In different climates, it's very good. So that's another option, quite elegant.
Is that what they call rammed earth?
It is almost similar. Round earth is more like you put it here and you pound. This is you get a long bag. Someone is here with a bucket filling and you go, and someone is compressing, laundry, second layer, third layer, fourth layer, it goes up. It's 35 centimeters thick. It's very stable. You can put a concrete slab on top of this little hole.
Okay, so that's the foundation.
It's a wall.
Okay.
It's a wall, it's a self-structuring wall. It holds weight.
Okay.
It's really nice, and it's really ecological, it's really social too. So, why this? Because we need affordable homes. If one house in a farm America is $100,000, I can limit my number of people who can be there. But if it's $12,000, it changes the picture quite drastically. In India, we might be talking of a house for 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, very affordable. And beautiful, it can have this finishing. All of this is the finishing touch with mud, cow dung, lime, and nice paints. Then it just becomes incredible. So I'm testing this. And finally, this is Greece, a group of devotees, architects and engineers. It's under the earth, so it's a climatized home. And we're trying to connect with them to bring the research in-house. He's a Vastu consultant, Shastra Prabhu. And I mean, this is the finishing. I don't know how good you can see, but it's quite cozy. Clay, wood, it's quite cozy. It's quite warm to the heart. Let's go out of this. And finally, intentional community dynamics. We're trying to find where we can get academic help and practical help. How to make community work. How to tighten community bonds. What tools, mechanisms, social. I'll give you an example. I have an Amish friend. Have you heard of Amish people? Anybody here heard? Well, who's an Amish? Describe an Amish for me.
They use communities to build their structures. They're very clear about their rules.
I have to speak louder.
They're very clear about their rules for the community, and they're very self-reliant.
Excellent. Maharaj, anything to add about the Amish?
Well, they believe in simple living and, religiosity and not using the minimal amount of technology.
Yes. Anything which would disturb their social tissue, they analyze and they think about it. So that's the parameter. Social tissue is preserved? Okay. It's not preserved? Like cell phones, they don't use. It's funny. Now, this is a story which happened. Sam is a friend next to Gitanagara. He's very dear to us. We're going to visit him, and we couldn't because, have I told you this? I told you last time. I'll tell again. There's a splinter of fire in his roof. The whole roof got burned. We couldn't go. This was like a Tuesday. So by Saturday, we said, let's go visit Sam. And his house was in order. I said, Sam, how did this happen? He said, well, Tuesday morning, like 5 a.m., I phoned the person in Harrisburg who knows, he has the architectural plan of every Amish person's house. He knows exactly the house, what it's like. And they collect a fee. Every square meter is $1. 100, 1,000. So they collect all the money, they put it in a pool, and when you have a problem, you call this man. So this is 5:30, Sam calling this man. I don't know his name. My roof is burned. And he said, how bad? And he described it. Okay, wait for us. 7 a.m. 72 Amish men showed up in Sam's house. 9 a.m. All the materials to replace the roof came to Sam's door. 4 p.m. roof is in place. Now, name one institution, be it an insurance company, who can be that efficient. So they figured instead of giving the money to insurance company, we get all of our community to be the insurance company. We put it together, and when we need it, we use it. If we don't need it, we don't collect next year. That's an interesting point. It's by need, not by tax. So that's one. They have about 50 mechanisms like that. So we're trying to get, this is a practical tool, but also academics who can help. There's people like Robert Hall in the Global Eco Village Network. We're close to him. Diana Leaf Christian. She's in America. She has a book, Intentional Communities. She's ready to help us. So we're building capacity to talk about community. And get a time limit? It's time?
No, 4:16.
4:16. What time do we finish?
4:15.
Okay, we have 20 minutes, right?
Now, you're 1 minute over.
Oh, is it finished?
4:15, you time is up.
Oh, it's half an hour, we have 45 minutes.
No, 45 minutes. It's early.
It says 4:30.
4:30, am I?
No,
4:30.
I'm already starting and I'm...
No, you start 4:45.
Yeah.
4:45.
Yours is 4:45. Look, it's good. So 4:30 we finish.
No, I need time to set up.
You can say.
And they change the time.
Yes. We have a little time. Okay, so what time again did you say?
4:30 now.
4:30.
I know, but what time is it now?
13 minutes.
15 minutes more.
I've got 15 more minutes to finish. Great.
I have an old schedule, but the timing was different.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, sorry
Thank you.
about that.
That's all right. So, yes, let's go on to that. And again. Once again. Once again. Once again. Right at the gray blue dot at the top. Yes. Right. Great. So this is a whole seminar which is ready, where we go into the natural law, where Prabhupada mentioned how this natural law interfaces with permaculture, with all these ideas. How nature is dictating succession. Have you heard of succession? The GBC body has that topic for a long time. And in a forest, succession means I'm a little tree here. Stay high. So he's a higher tree, he's next to me, and over him there's someone, and over him there's someone. So there is emergence, high, medium, and low. We all work together. Okay? So that's succession of forest. All 4 levels are working. When the old tree is old, it falls or it's cut, and then I come up. And then they come up. So that's how a forest works. It's succession. Everybody's in synchrony. It's a perfect ecological balance game. It's completely in homeostasis. It's in balance. The forest is in balance. Okay? So we need to find a farming system which replicates that. So we show how the natural law is behind that, how Dharma is behind that. So that's a deeper course, and I'm integrating that into an agricultural course. Also, we talk about, don't put it there, I call that transhumanism. We call transcendentalism, or transhumanism, which means going beyond your human limits. Current times, digital transhumanism, technology, science, we're going to solve all our problems through this. We are old school, analog transhumanism. Analog means, you know, your analog phone, the Nokia? So we use guru, disciple, parampara, shastra. This is coming in an analogical way. And that's our line. And we should have a farming system which follows that line. So I'm doing research on an academical level, shastric level, and on a practical very much level, because we need to get a crop at the end, right, Tamapati? You can't just talking. You have to show that you sowed it, you nurtured the community, and like that. So that's very important. That's also, and then we talk about Prema culture. Prema culture is basically a term we should royalty, because it has a lot to do with us. We're all about divinity, and we're all about nature, Mother Cow. They're very interconnected. So if we show a model where we live in harmony with Mother Nature, Mother Cow, and spirituality, we did a point with Srila Prabhupada. So Prema culture translates that. It's eco-farming with love. I think it's a great marketing way of showing this ecological farming system. And click on Prema culture. This one is going to be a little more tricky because there are few slides, and this screen is not so clear. But let's do this. I'll go directly to zoom in. No, I mean, make it small, a little smaller. More smaller. A little more smaller. Yes, let's go directly to this one here.
It's inverted.
It's inverted, yes, he did that to me. He inverted it, like put upside down. But it's 1,200 square meters, answering your question. Sorry, it's upside down. This Prezi makes a little mess. Maybe I can read it from here. So, for those who have very good spatial relationship, okay, it's 1,200 square meters only, one person to maintain, 5 to 10 people can eat from that system. It's simple, it's accessible, and it's experimental, and it's replicable. So Lalitanath Prabhu, you could be with us developing a model where we could now adjust that to any reality, 200 square meters that you have, and you could make various sizes for temples, flowers and herbs, you know. So we want to make a team around urban farming and small farms and big farms, different teams. And I think
Does that mean grains and everything? Or
some grains. So because he can produce so much grain, he's putting a philosophy there. We don't need so much bread, so we can have one bread a week. So Thibaut is kind of an interesting person. So, but he's measuring everything he harvests, he weighs, and he's very scientific about it. So I'll end here to have questions, because the next speaker already came in quite authoritatively. So questions, and we can interact, and we'll be together on other forums more. See, 45 minutes too short. We need more. Yes, Prabhu.
So, if I don't, if I remember in the morning you said it's for temperate climate, tropical one is still under.
The varieties he used mostly are for temperate. He's got all the list he grows, so that's ready. Now, if I want to go do this in Brazil or in Central America, all you need is to adjust the varieties. That's all. But the system is in place. Because actually, if you see, it's a vegetable garden, it's the greenhouses, and he's a food forest at the end. And then I put whatever is suitable for my climate in that food forest. But the principle is the same. How it works is the same. Now, the trees' distance will be different. In Umapati, believe me, when we do agroforestry in the middle of a mango orchard, you have the mango. So you put an eucalyptus in the middle. The mangoes will love it because mango is not an emergent tree, it's a high tree. It likes to have something over it. So it's nice because then you have two crops, you have eucalyptus plus mango. Then you could have something lower. In my country, you can have those tropical plants like heliconias, they're worth $1 a piece, so it's, yes. And then you can have more things, vegetables, crops, and different things. So that concept of layer, multi-layer is very important. Is that okay? One more question or two more, and then I think Mataji will come in and says, your time is up.
That was a building on automobile?
Yes. It costs $30,000 euros because of the greenhouses. In Europe, quite expensive. That was almost like 15,000 euros, the 3 greenhouses. And then he has a module for housing where he keeps the seeds, the storage, and he has a little studio at the top for a family of 2. If you have family children, then you need more space. But he can say 2 people could live comfortably there. A young couple, 2 brahmacharis, people like that.
Do you start with the hydro survey? Do you start with the hydro survey? How the water goes?
Yeah, that's really, I'm so happy you brought that up. You see, like, one of the main questions any permaculture teacher will ask is, how will you capture water? Because so much water will pass through, but we can't hold it. It's simple. It rains, the soil is dry and hard, it runs off. No time for infiltration. Okay? Now, if I have here a kind of a hole, he calls a swale, on contour, when the water comes, it falls in the swale, it rises, it finds a berm, you know, a berm like a lump of earth, soft, and it infiltrates and goes to the water table. So you are creating a bulb, a humidity bulb. And then he puts a tree of lines along the swale, and then you have a root system with water. Now, roots and water, and then you cut and you mulch, and you have food. Then you have it. And that swale will capture at least 30% of the water going through your property. That's how I made that in the morning picture, that transformation, is by holding the water in a few places and then it stopped. So water is really important. More important than seeing what's below is how you capture the rainwater. That's really crucial. Yes?
Can you explain more about intentional communities? What
Yes.
is your plan?
What's an intentional community?
No, what is your plan? Are you going to teach about it, or you are going to implement an intentional community, or what?
Excellent question. My plan is, first of all, what's an intentional community?
You can't tell us it.
What's your intuition?
When people get together and they intentionally want to have a life in common and they have common purposes.
Exactly. Especially if they consider ecological elements, reshaping wealth and reshaping livelihoods, like one helping another a little more. For us, what's our intention?
Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti Yoga. So if Bhakti Yoga is nurtured by economy, social dealings, it becomes very stable because now you have stable families with stable food, stable everything. So what I mean by intentional communities is, first of all, we need to define what's our intention as a movement, right? That's difficult, right? Good Prasad Swami, to define what is ISKCON is a big question. So I try to put it simply. Devotees who want to share a common spirituality journey, trying to live in harmony with nature, if I can give you a definition like that. And another Christian author called it anticipatory communities, because we are anticipating what the future will look like.
But do you have plan to implement an actual community, or we're just gonna theorize about that?
We started Sambandha, we need to know about it, we need to understand the principles, visit successful models, understand tradition which is successful. Then we start the living labs on communities. The living lab starts with agriculture and expand to ecological building and then to communities. How do you bring community together in Mayapur? How do you break the impersonalism that came up in Mayapur? I live here 12 years and these things creep in and all of a sudden you don't talk to your neighbor for centuries like a big town. Why? We don't have a shared economy. So we don't need each other. So how do you transform that? So that's a tool that could be offered. How to create shared economy in Mayapur? Maybe we could make a shared business, people in America could market it. You don't have to do great efforts, something doable with your energy. They sell it, they market it, a product of our home city, our spiritual capital. Everybody will want that, something special from Mayapur. So things like that. Did I answer your question? No. If I want to implement one, it's very hard. You need to be a leader, you need a lot of funds, a lot of planning. So we're going to try to look at the existing ones and show models. And I myself, where I show, there's potential for a big one. Something like 1,000 hectares. There's an opportunity there. If the opportunity comes, I will make a proposal. Let's replicate all of it.
Yeah.
With the planning from the beginning. The farming system, economy systems, housing systems, all the designs. But that's a big proposal. I mean, looking at it is almost looking at Mars. But I want to look at my first step. I want to get us together, develop the tools, then develop it.
Yeah, that's what I say. The presentation is morning, and I'm very happy that so much emphasis on agriculture.
That's my heart.
But I mean, and actually, the feedback on my proposal that so that realize it, we have to change the name of the ministry.
Maharaj, can we do that? Agriculture and cow protection instead of cow protection and agriculture?
Yeah, it must be
Because
clear.
it's,
Otherwise, how do you
agriculture is a
fertilize
complete
plants?
whole.
How do you make the soil, rich? If you have a little bit sandy soil or clay soil, the cows are the perfect solution for both.
The agriculture seems to me that's a complete whole. Cow protection is part of it, so it's not exactly the whole first.
We could open that debate, but Krishna will come here in the Krishna book and say, my father, we are a cow herd community. We have nothing to do with crops. Indra is raining everywhere. So we have an argument here on a high level, but I think it's a good proposal. I think the reason is because cow protection is mentioned every page of Bhagavatam, and then agriculture serves cow protection. But alphabetically, agriculture, cow protection makes sense. Chronologically, agriculture comes first. So we could discuss next year the GBC board and see if we could put Ministry of Agriculture, which is my heart, and cow protection is what I support. So anyway, Mataji, I think, is waiting for us to go. It was a pleasure. It was little time. There's so much to deliver, to give. We opened seminars and courses. It's just a small report of what we're doing currently. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If you have any doubts, we're there. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Hari Bol.